Evening, everyone. My name is Mazezok, and welcome once more to Ginger Media TV. This evening, we will be looking at the return of fuel subsidy, even when government does not want to, tell Nigerians that they have failed and they have failed catastrophically. Tunde Bakari, Dr. Pastor Tunde Bakari said over the weekend in his State of the Nation address, these set of people should work and kill corruption, not kill Nigerian masses. They should actually let the Nigerian masses breathe. The return of fuel subsidy and the return of dollar defense. We are now doing a lot to defend dollar. Many of you are aware this week dollar hit 1,050 naira. So that is crazy. Because the parallel markets is in financial terms, we say it has depegged. The depegging of dollar that was pegged against naira for certain values is depegged, and naira has gone through a free fall, and here we are today. But let's quickly start. Today we're going to be looking at what others think about the dollar difference and the fuel subsidy, and at the same time we will look at the breaking news that many of you, I don't know if you've had it, ministers have been assigned, or portfolio has been assigned to ministers. And for instance, the former governor of Ebonyi State is the new minister of works. Well, one could argue by the things that he's done in Ebonyi State, and the what's his name again? Festus Kayemo is now the Minister of Aviation. Wow, Minister of Aviation. You recall the last Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, was one of those who many Nigerians believed that really did abysmally poor. Not only that, some shabby jobs were done at some of the international airports. One could also see where under him the Nigerian started many times, flew nowhere, but landed abysmally multiple times. Till yet, billions of naira was spent to nothing, and nothing came out of it. Festus Kayamo is now the Minister of Aviation, and the former governor of Rivers State, Yeson Wike, as he depend them, he dey sweet them, as he dey sweet them, he go depend them. That one, the is now the FC minister. And it behoves one to actually ask one simple question. I know that he has been in Rivers since becoming a local government chairman. He hasn't necessarily lived in Abuja. I do not know what he can actually bring in Abuja. Well, maybe Abuja need some new bridges being built or some new flyovers. If in that case, maybe. So this time we're going to be looking at the ministerial posts and what this government is actually doing. However, before we do that, there is something trending since the week in on the Twitter street. Many people, many young Nigerians come together and did something that's never been done in Nigeria. The way they came to form themselves and come together and form an alliance and brought themselves and created what we today known as obedient movement. This way, they contributed even when they are hungry, contributed their widow's and started erecting billboards across Nigeria. If you go to Edo State, these billboards are there. I think about 3 weeks ago, we started seeing the billboards in Edo, and this billboard made their way to Abuja. The one I believe that really got Bola Tinubu and the DSS angry is the one that was erected almost opposite the the court of appeal where the presidential election tribunal is holding. You know what they did? They applied because they're law-abiding citizens. They got the permission and they erected the billboards. But government appear not to be happy with that, and the following then happened.
inscription, "All Eyes on the Judiciary," that was erected in Abuja a few days ago has been removed. Such billboards have been making the rounds on social media and have also made it in a few other states. Now, the essence, according to the sponsors, is to remind the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal that Nigerians are watching as the date for final judgment of the presidential election draws near. Now, this one in Abuja, according to a supporter of the APC, Wike, on X, if you want to call it Twitter, on Twitter, he says he breached due process and the violators will be investigated and have their licenses retrieved. But in reaction to this, Adebowale says, very good, because there is law in this country and we should try as much as, and we should try to obey the law. This country should not be a kangaroo kingdom. For human rights lawyer Effiong, it says removal of billboards stating "All Eyes on the Judiciary" is a violation of the constitutional right to freedom of expression. There is nothing inciting in this message and no one should be targeted for that. The law allows the court to be amenable to criticisms and scrutiny. But reacting to him, Chris says it is an act of intimidation of the judiciary, and you know that counsel. That's responding to him. But more reactions. Victor says any evidence to prove that due process was not followed. We already know why they want to remove the billboard. But the interesting thing is that the message has already been passed. It has achieved its purpose.
Now, let's look at this before we jump in. All eyes on the judiciary. It's no criminal. There is nothing there that is inciting. All eyes on judiciary. It's just like someone saying all eyes on the presidency or the executive, all eyes on the legislators. That's all. So if you have clear conscience, why must you be apprehensive? If you have clear conscience, all eyes on the judiciary, and so what? Yes, now make one they look judiciary. All eyes on the judiciary. What is the problem? If you ask me, there is no problem. Ochuko says Festus is Minister of Youth, not Aviation. Aviation Minister. No, I think Ochuko, you're correct. You're wrong. Totally wrong. We had the release before we published, so we do not. Just for the benefit, I would display that when we get to that point, but we're not there yet. So at the end of the day, what Nigerians are now doing, everyone who believes in this, there is, if you go to X, which is formerly known as Twitter, if you go to Twitter or the Twitter streets, you will see that many people have changed their DP into the approved All Eyes on the Judicial logo. So on your WhatsApp, on everywhere you are, you can as well do this. Go to Twitter, download it, and do the same. All Eyes on the Judiciary. That is what is trending. All eyes on the judiciary, because enough, they say, is enough. And Nigerians, as you all know, are tired of the mess that we have found ourselves in. There is nothing new here. The people are only saying, let the judiciary do their work without being coerced, without being, manipulated. Let no one manipulate the judiciary. It's as simple as that. Now, that's on the judicial side. So let's come back to the main cocoa of the matter this evening. Subsidy is back. Subsidy. Fuel subsidy that Bola Tinubu told you that he was going to remove, and there is nothing you can do about it, is what? Is back. So whether you me or not. Recall when during the campaign, right? When he was asked, when Bola Tinubu was asked, what was his plan? When before the election, many of us were clamoring. Anyone who says he wants to govern Nigeria must come before the people and must be scrutinized. Even on this platform, those that said they wanted to govern in the southeast, as in form of the Ohanese leadership, on this platform, we brought them. We questioned all of them, including the late Professor George Obiozo, that was the PG. Every single one of them subjected to themselves, to the people, questioned. Here we have in Nigeria, Atiku attended some debate. Peter Obi attended all the debate, but Bola Tinubu never attended, not single, not one. Even in one of those that he actually appeared for himself, he was asked what his strategy is. If you have forgotten, we have not forgotten. As the elders say, he who breaks the palm kernel with a rock, if you're not counting how many palm kernel you have broken, the rock which break that palm kernel is counting for you. So we are keeping tab. We are not forgetting.
I don't want to sit here and reveal all my strategy. I am the first speaker among the three of us running. So they will spy on me. So you will have a limited answer here today. Another day you can bring me back.
See, what is your strategy? How are you going to do things the catastrophe we are now facing? How are you going to deal with them? He was telling us he was not going to expose his own strategy that others will copy if he told us. Recall that we were told that the reason why we wanted fuel subsidy to go was because it was no longer affordable. But like we have said here, time without number, has it ever bothered you to know why is it that Nigeria does not refine? What we then see them do now to us is to tell us, "Oh, Nigeria is one of the cheapest in the region," and I'm like, "Are you guys normal? How can you present such argument where, in clear terms, you have not allowed any of the refineries to work? The question is why." It is madness that a nation cannot manage a refinery. But those that were tasked with the duties to ensure that the refineries run uninterruptedly would then go and invest in a private refinery without making their own refinery to work. See the logic. You have a logistic company. You have your own trucks. Your trucks are not working. This is a place you control. Instead of you to fix your trucks, you go and help a competitor in this sense to set up their own company and fix their own company. Of course, you can invest, but isn't the smartest thing to do first is to ensure that your own logistic company actually works? Okay? So when we now look at this, listen to this argument and see if it makes sense to you as to this subsidy brouhaha, that we are now listening to.
We should go back to reviewing what is happening in NNPCL. This whole issue has to do with corruption in that industry.
Yes.
Unless the president goes there, we will not really get the benefit of the oil that is produced in this country. This is the point. This is all it's about. It has nothing to do. When people say subsidy, it's like something out of the blues. It is nothing. The question of the price of oil is what we're talking about. How do we get the price of oil to the point where it is affordable and we not destroy the economy? That is the issue. How do we do that? Go to NNPCL, Mr. President.
You haven't answered that question.
Find out what is going on there.
Do you think we should go back to the subsidy regime and then come to this agenda you're talking about?
No. You cannot be going back and forth.
Well, you cannot be going back and forth, but exactly that is what the president has done. Because they do not, even Buhari, recall that Buhari was saying, yes, under Ibe Kachuku, oh, subsidy is gone. We have the blue grammar, blah, blah, blah. And somebody called them through the back door again. Recall when Barrow was the GMD of NNPC, the hanky-panky deals that gone down there. This is a national channel of siphoning your resources unchecked. anyone promising you that they will do anything, anyone who is not genuine, anyone who is not willing to step on toes, anyone who is not willing to really work and shake the system, it's not going to scratch the surface. It's not going to do anything. However, we now hear this morning the analysis by Arise TV. Like I said to somebody last night when I first watched Ajure here, and I say, how can he be saying that the president affirms, the president do this, the president, and are you guys serious? What Nigerians are asking is, dollar is going crazy, oil price is going crazy. Isn't the best thing to do at this point is to stop the effing importation? Isn't that the best thing you guys can do? But no, they won't do that. They keep on importing. And in this importation, because importation, forget that they tell you that is NNPC, but people...
It's now time to take a look at news stories making headlines around the globe. There will be no increase in the price of petrol. That's according to President Bola Tinubu. Presidential spokesman Ajuri Ngilali says Tinubu is taking steps to curb the increase of fuel prices without having to reverse its decision to exit the subsidy regime. There are concerns that the price of petrol could soar, even reaching 750 naira per litre. Organized labor has threatened to go on a nationwide strike if the prices increase. But the presidency has called for patience, saying Nigeria's pump prices are the most cost-effective in West Africa.
Mr. President wishes to assure Nigerians, following the announcement by the NNPC Limited just yesterday, that there will be no increase in the pump price of petroleum motor spirit anywhere in the country. We repeat, the President affirms that there will be no increase.
The President affirms. The President confirms. The President stated. How are you going to ensure there's not going to be any increase? Oil price is going up. Naira is on the downhill until since this morning they started the wedge against the downfall. How are you going to? It's common sense. This is what none of them is telling you. This is not what nobody, he is not saying it. How are they going to? They are coming back to bring back subsidy through the back door. That is pure madness because they are not truthful. Rather than go ahead and fight those that are behind it, you are going to come back again because you do not want to upset certain people. What manner of country is this?
In the pump price of petroleum motor spirit, which is going to be available to everybody, all right, is the presidential daily brief. This is what the NNPC supplies to the president directly for his press.
You see, actually, we must have people who are internet savvy as as presidents, people who can Google stuff to them by themselves. This is a president being lied to. These are oil prices within the sub-region, yet the data is incorrect.
Personal viewing on a morning-by-morning basis, and he's releasing it to the public this morning for the sake of full disclosure and because he wants Nigerians to ensure that there's no need for panic at this time. We have enough fuel to supply the country. The country is wet with products, and it will continue to be so.
The country is wet with product. Did you hear his analogy? The country is wet with product. The country is pregnant with product. But what he is not telling you is this country that is wet with petroleum product is only wet on imported product paid with forex. In the last 8 years, these APC government are so daft that they cannot figure out how to fix the thing. Before we even continue, did you see where Oshomole came up and said that they inherited bad governance from Buhari? And I'm tempted to say, I didn't know that Buhari was a member of which party? I didn't know that Buhari was a member of WPP or WPO or AAA. I didn't know. Oh no, actually, now it's making sense. He was never a member of APC, so APC never governed. When you hear Oshomole say something like this, you begin to wonder.
The government inherited a terrible economic situation. Everybody knows it. The government inherited an economy in which our total national revenue was barely enough to service our debt burden.
Barely enough to service your debt burden. For 8 years, you ran nomadic economy for 8 years, and you expect things to change for 8 years. Well, I say it's good now because many of you in that last 8 years called us the willing willers. Now, who is willing? Before you can fill your tank between 12 and 15,000. Now 65,000. It's on this with you, huh? It go reach everybody. So now what? It go reach everybody. How can you now see Oshomole saying that they inherited a bad government, bad debt, but from who? The same government you served, the same government you acted as party chairman. Not for one day. Not for one day in the last 8 years did Oshomole. Not for 1 second did Oshomole say, the direction this party is going is not correct. No, not for one day. Now he's telling us they inherited, as if, thank God all these things are coming out before the rightful people eventually come and take over. Because it's just pure mad.
Body spending 96%, which is to say every 96 kobo, every 100 naira Nigeria earns.
See, he's now beginning to do Buhari mathematics. Every 100 naira, 100, not 1 kobo, or not 1 naira, every 100 naira Nigerian earns. Listen to his mathematics now.
96 kobo, every 100 naira Nigeria earns, 96 kobo is going to repay debts to
96 kobo from 96 kobo from 100 naira still leaves you over 99 naira now, Oga. 96 kobo, that's
service debts. So you have only 4 kobo left.
From if you remove 96 kobo from 100 naira, you have 1 kobo, 4 kobo left. Oh, sure, Baba. If now your brother for Sapele will say this Sapele road, we know if it go front, we know.
5 days it is Sapele road. I know go back, I know go front. I know Giri make you go back. I know Giri make you come. The road you don't spoil. The people ask, I know Giri make you open the road. Why?
I did Sapele road though. I still did Sapele road because this 96 kobo minus 100 naira minus 96 kobo, 4 kobo. This mathematics, this is the APC economic team. This is how they work. But anyway, let's come back to the main cocoa of the matter, and let's hear out Ajure here on the things he was saying, because his argument is that he actually, when you look around the sub-region, you have nations where our crude oil, their pump price, ours is cheaper. But one thing he forgot is actually to tell the full story. I would also tell us here, show us other African countries that produce oil, how much they sell their product, because this is the age of fact. Let's begin to cross-check and fast-check one another here.
Also wish to affirm that the president is determined to maintain competitive tension within all sectors of the petroleum industry. He is determined to ensure that our policy drawn up as well as policy implemented follows the cue that there will not be any single one entity dominating the market. The market has been deregulated, it has been liberalized, and we are moving forward in that direction without looking back.
Well, in the face of Mount...
You know why they laugh? The market has the market has been deregulated. That's what makes me actually. It's the market has gone, and you are still wedging it. Why? If you have said we have liberalized this sector, why are you still fixing the prices? Why are you still telling Nigerians that the price is not going to go beyond what it is now? So the difference, where the money come from? Let us get
mounting concerns and speculations over potential fuel price increase. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has joined the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to assure Nigerians that there are no plans of increasing the pump price of petrol for now. Arise correspondent Georgina Ndukwe has details.
The rise in global crude oil prices has prompted East African country Kenya to reintroduce fuel subsidies to curb soaring prices of petrol. Well, in spite of Nigeria's rising inflation rate and cost of living, the Tinubu administration has repeatedly stated that there is no going back on the removal of fuel subsidy. The media space has been populated by reports of another increase in petrol pump prices in coming weeks. This speculation is to a rise in the cost of the dollar to the naira in the parallel market from 910 to 950 naira as crude oil prices globally. But in a swift reaction, Nigeria's oil company published on its social media that it has no intention to increase its petrol pump prices as widely speculated. While the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, in an interview with Arise News, also reaffirmed NNPC's statement, dispelling speculations of a price increase.
We are not making any effort to increase price. We are still getting our product from NNPC, majorly. So, and these people are the people we look up to. And they have come out clearly that they are not intending to increase price.
They are not intending to increase price, Oga. But the question remains, how is the variation in the price? How is it going to be breached? Until anybody answers that question, we are going back to the time where Buhari says that anybody who tell you that there is fuel subsidy is a criminal. That is a scam. Fuel subsidy is a scam. Yet, after all the bravado, this guy is going back to that same scam.
I think this will go a long way to dousing every tension.
Ipman also re-emphasized the need to inculcate compressed natural gas as a cleaner alternative to fuel.
By the time we incorporate CNG into our station that we've already built, investment running over 10 trillion, and people will be talking about where is our investment. We have done this thing over the years, and it's now that it will pay this country. Where you co-locate this CNG, component and begin to use it rather than, leaving us.
But what is the possibility of not having any additional?
Today, we have not been able to see a proper pricing template. Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, and at this point, Rufai is taking over to say, let's actually listen to him, because what Rufai is arguing is all the back and forth, like Sapele Road, there's not been a proper pricing template that's been put before Nigeria.
To alleviate the fears of Nigerian citizens.
Journalistic expression thus far. Subsidy is gone. Long live fuel subsidy.
Subsidy is gone. I hope you understood that. Subsidy is gone, said Tinubu, but long live fuel subsidy. That means the subsidy is back. Subsidy is gone, but subsidy is back. Nothing like Sapele Road. I know if you go
5 days, it is Sapele Road. I know go back, I know go front. I know
5 days it is. Now it's 80 days with this Sapele Road. We know if it go front, we know if it go back. Because why? There are people that they are scared of, even looking into their eyes, talk less of touching.
Pretty much reminds me of the old king is gone, long live the king. What that means, tongue in cheek, is subsidy is back. Where did it go before? Nowhere. And I'll break it down for you. Good morning once again, everybody. Welcome to Nigeria. At first, we said we pulled out subsidy. NNPC became largest importer product.
Mm-hmm.
As of today, we have not been able to see a proper pricing template. Oh, okay, they released one. I saw one that talked about the fact that the landing cost goes up to 651. Landing cost goes to 651, but we're buying at the pumps at 580, and you tell me subsidy was gone. It was not. Subsidy was not gone.
So where is
landing cost is 651 today? People are buying at the pumps for 670 up north in Abuja.
Yeah.
You told me subsidy is gone. It never went anywhere.
We're buying 679.
And that's what we keep telling ourselves. So what do we want to do? Dilly-dally with policies, not being coherent. And I think the NNPC has a lot of explanations to be able to make, and they have not made to us. Yes, I understand what the president said. Anyway, what President Tinubu said is something he had always said before. He said he was going to intervene in petrol price. And when he said that, when he gave that palliative speech, I said, yes, it means that he signaled that subsidy is going to remain. And when NNPC is so quick to compare our pricing with price of other African countries, two questions I'd like to ask. Do economic conditions, are they the same? What's the purchasing power parity ratio? We are comparing our petrol price with that of Cote d'Ivoire. Do they produce oil as much as we do? No. I think a fair comparison would be more of Angola, which is a fellow oil producer in our own capacity, rather than this comparison here and there and all of that. Then stretching it one step further, there is nothing that is happening now that we do not know was happening. I think it was Rotus that even challenged the pricing before now of the products by saying that there was something that was not clear about this pricing. Hasn't it been proven right? Rotus have been proven right. And today they keep saying, oh, there's no subsidy. And how many of the marketers imported? NNPC still pretty much control the markets. But my pain in all of this is we have allowed people suffer so much.
For nothing.
And that's why I say, for us to be able to come out of these problems, we do not need to be impetuous. We need to be circumspect. I didn't see a lot of being circumspect in making the two big decisions as regards unification and subsidy removal. Right. People just suffered in vain.
What are the specific issues here? Let's address the issue.
You know, funny enough, why Ruben Nabati has once occupied that office, that seat where Ajure actually sat. For the first time, actually, it's good to see Ruben, who sometimes defends Tinubu. It's good to see him use certain languages that say, okay, Ruben, don't they wake up?
Number one, on May 29, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said fuel subsidy is gone. Okay? And the major criticism that we have offered is that there wasn't enough thought given into that process. And that has caused so much hardship, number one. Number two, we were told at the time that market forces will regulate the market for pump price of fuel. Now today, these market forces have been punishing us. And we are just being told now that delivery, landing costs, which includes administrative costs, you know, the cost of freight and all of that, is up to about 651 or so, which is higher than the pump price of fuel. Simple economics, even for people who are dumb and are just emotional.
Ruben has indirectly called all the Agbado rights. All the Agbado rights. He just called them dump on the national TV without saying it. No be my mouth and I go here say call on.
You know, simple economics is that it's not sustainable at that rate. So if government now comes and says, oh, look, the federal government will not increase pump price. NNPC says nobody is increasing pump price. Okay, if your landing cost is 651 and you are selling at 617 per liter. My teacher in financial systems at the University of Oxford, Said Business School, told us that return on investment is what you focus on as a business person. So where is the return on investment? So what exactly is government saying? Number three, Ajuri yesterday, you know, had a press conference, one of my predecessors in that chair, and said, well, government is not going to increase fuel price. And says, we will maintain the status quo and all of that. Okay, what does that really mean? At the same time, government is saying market forces will continue to apply. What I see here is confusion. Shonobi, the CBN person, came yesterday, or was it the other day? He said, the president is concerned. Ajuri Ngelale was saying yesterday, the president affirms. The president is concerned, he is affirming. Okay, what exactly is he concerned about? What exactly is he affirming? What is he saying, Gone?
He says, what is he saying, Gone? Let's ask Buhari. Buhari will say, Buhari, what is Tinubu actually saying? Is it your party? Why are you guys taking
ABC, Nigeria, from top to bottom, top to bottom, top.
You guys have really gone from top to bottom. Ruben, calm down. Calm down. Don't be too angry with them, because what they do, just like as Rufai said before, I have this data. Before I bring back Ruben here, this is a data that tells you how much fuel prices, how much these countries that produce fuel, how much they pay. Angola in question, which the Tinubu's APC government intentionally forgot to add in their analysis, is there 288. Did anybody, if we started refining petrol and Nigerians are told, okay, Egypt is paying 295, Angola is paying 288, but because we are Mumu and we're all idiots, Nigerians, okay, pay 350. Do we think we'll all be bothered? What is the essence of the natural thing that God has given us, yet we import it? If men were God, now to all of us to wake up one day and see that there is no more oil, if we go die, make we all die. Because the one we have is of no value to us. Look at it here. Algeria, 269. Kuwait, 271. Angola, 288. Egypt, 295. Libya, Libya, that Sarkozy and David Cameron with NATO bombed to ashes. Still, Libya, 24 naira 97.3 kobo. That is what it is. Our own 617. As it is, over 700 because of the naira parity. And where are we? Yet the government is saying they are no longer paying subsidy. They haven't told us the truth. They haven't told us the truth. So, Ruben, conclude your thought, please. Oh, there, I laugh small.
As you we say. No, what is he saying? There should be clarity in terms of how they are approaching this particular matter. And then Nigeria yesterday was giving us examples of fuel price in Cote d'Ivoire, in Mali, in Senegal, in in Guinea. These are not oil-producing countries. So this comparison of the price of the pump price of fuel in Nigeria to the pump price to the cost of a Coca-Cola drink in Seychelles and Mauritius, no, it's a very dubious way of approaching the issue. Nigerians are saying we are an oil-producing country, and that's the position of NLC. Why are we not producing and refining oil here? Why are we even importing the same thing that God has given us? They say Dangote magic will solve the problem. Now, the Dangote magic has not yet happened. And if you talk to the Dangote refinery people, they will tell you they have their own challenges. So market forces. I've been quoting Joseph Stiglitz on this thing. You know, people just take textbook knowledge, they run with it, but the textbook knowledge that they don't even understand, that they have not gone to school for, the relevant books they have not even read. When they meet with all these IMF, World Bank, WTO people, they are the weakest link in the room because they don't have the knowledge. And then they come here. Okay, what we are being told now is that since May 29 to date, Nigerians have been punished for policy, wrong articulation of policy. And which is why in some of the reports I have read, Johnson Chukwu was saying, yes, it simply means that subsidy has returned. If President Tinubu is saying we will not increase subsidy, we will not increase fuel price, then it means that fuel subsidy is coming back.
It's as simple as that, because there is nothing that anybody who has common sense will tell you that you wouldn't basically say this. When you deregulate, government doesn't have any say at all in the price mechanism anymore. The operators determines determine the price of their goods and services. No matter how you look at it, Tinubu's removal of fuel subsidy is nothing but a scam, and he still controls the fuel price. How does that happen? It's nothing but a scam. If you want, you believe it. If you don't want, it's up to you.
Through the back door. That is simply what it means. And it's a failure of their, adoption of neoliberal economics, which does not work automatically because objective conditions are also relevant. Now, my final point on this. In Kenya, when President William Ruto came to power in September 2021, one of the things he said was that he was not going to provide subsidy for consumption. He will provide subsidy for production. And on the basis of that, he removed fuel subsidy. Do you know that in Kenya now, Kenya has now said between now and September 26, they will suspend the fuel subsidy removal regime, and that people, can have some respite. Because it did not work in Kenya. We sat on this table. We were praising William Ruto. We were saying, oh, William Ruto promised and he has delivered. He saw that the policy that he introduced, of which he himself was a part with Kenyatta, I think that's his name, the man who was president before him, that is not working. Now he has reversed himself. Because there have been protests in Kenya. There have been killings in Kenya.
Lost their lives.
And now the president says, I listen to the voice of the people. I give you some respite. Okay, we may have improved in terms of food inflation rate, but we see that the people cannot breathe. So what Nigerians are telling President Tinubu is that let the people breathe. If policy articulation, policy application has failed, be humble enough, like William Ruto of Kenya, show enough courage, like
but he's not going to be humble. He's not going to be humble. So he's going to continue. We all are going to see the end. We all are going to see the end about it.
Ruto of Kenya, and be honest with the people and say, well, I don't think this thing is working. Maybe
anyway, it is not working. Now, this is where the crime, and every Nigerian must begin to worry about this. The following is that as we speak, Nigeria, the NNPC, is going to borrow money to wedge the dollar. To wedge against the dollar. Nigeria is borrowing money. Now, we publish this. If you go to njinjimedia.com, you'll see this. But for the benefit of not sounding that, okay, because we published it, let's look at an independent, that is Reuters. Not Reuters, but Bloomberg. And Bloomberg here says, Nigerian state-owned energy company. Let me quickly, put that on the screen for you to read with me. So you see where, when we talk about incompetence, that's what is the hallmark of the whole madness. Nigeria, look, Nigerian state-owned energy company, NNPC, signed a $3 billion deal with Afrin Exim Bank. Take a breather. Stop for a moment. Let this sink in. $3 billion deal. Today, not be yesterday, not be tomorrow. Today, is it for? That NNPC said this money is aimed at helping the West African nation boost dollar supply in foreign exchange market. So, in street man terms here, what it means. Because we are stupid enough that we do not produce enough to earn dollars, we went to borrow to come and put so that our naira probably will not get to 2,000 or 3,000 to 1 naira. We are still borrowing. NNPC is now going to borrow dollar, bring it here for us to wedge against the slide of naira. Incompetence 101. When a bunch of people are incompetent, that the only thing they have in their mind and in their head is only shortcuts. How on earth would you think that a thing like this will be happening? And everyone is just, many people don't bloody care. Everyone just goes about their business. Anyway, on the last part here, let's quickly look at this. These are ministers, as you see, that were appointed by Tinubu. When we look at these ministers, let's start with this one. We'll look at these ministers here quickly. Let's expand it. So we'll see that these are divided in regions. For the Southeast, for instance, you have Doris, Anit, Uchennaji, Nkiruka, Onyagwocha, Uju, Kennedy, and David Umahi. Interesting mix here is this. Former governor of Ebonyi State, who is now the Minister of Works. By the virtue of what he did in Ebonyi State, maybe, because many times that we've been in that state, the only state where you see concrete is being used for road, and it lasts longer than the normal asbestos. What's it called? Bitumen, material, right? Here, you see, there is another interesting thing here. This is the Southwest. The Southwest has an interesting mix. Transportation, Southwest. Solid mineral, Southwest. They held it before. Health and social welfare, Southwest. Power, again, the one held by Fashola, again, Adebayo, Adelajbu, is power. Marine and blue economy, this is new. Bumi, Tunji Ojo. Finance. After Goodluck Jonathan and Okonjo-Iweala, when Okonjo-Iweala became the Prime Minister of Nigeria by virtue of being the Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Tinubu has gone and brought that same nomenclature back. And guess who? His bosom friend, Wale Edun. Many of us knew that's Aviation because this is like Shewumi once said, when they control, exactly the same thing that Buhari did is the pattern. Things are coming up again. Now, come here to the Niger Delta, that's to the south. You have Festus Kayemo, who is the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development. Okay? You have Minister of State, Gas Resources, Ekperikpe Ekpo, and John Eno. The last one here is the man of the sweetness, whether they sweet them, they make you this. This is Yeson Wike. He's now the Minister of Federal Capital Territory. The man who helped Tinubu rig Rivers State's election like there was no tomorrow, as if tomorrow will never come. He is now being rewarded with the Minister of FCT. Many have argued, has he ever actually lived in Abuja to know the Abuja terrain properly? So if we continue to the ministerial lists, again, let's go ahead here. If we continue to the ministerial list here, you will basically see that the Minister of Defense goes to this Northwest. And you can see that Northwest has 10 ministerial position. 10. That is unbelievable. Why? Because they believe that they had the highest number of votes. Northeast has 7, North Central has 8. These are the people that are going to hold forth until the judiciary does the right thing. Not West. Unbelievable. Minister of State, Federal Capital Territory. And we have a budget and economic planning. We have housing and urban development. Minister of State for Education and Minister of State for Defense. Northwest basically has Minister of Defense and Minister of State for Defense. What do you think? As many has argued that this evening that these are people holding forth until the judiciary does the right thing and the right thing comes in. What do you think? Do you think that is, what's going to happen? But bear in mind, as we started, and we're going to be closing soon, that the judiciary actually, or rather the DSS and those in Abuja, got angry about the billboard erected by some obedient in Abuja, or some concerned Nigerians actually, because there was nowhere there that was, so it was written obedient, but some concerned Nigerians who basically came together and said, okay, all eyes on the judiciary. If you're watching me for the first time and if you haven't subscribed to this platform, by all means, please just click the like button, share with others. I try as much as possible to ensure that this does not exceed 1 hour for those who would watch afterwards. On this note, I say thank you very much for joining me. As these develop, we will be coming back and be bringing these explanations and analysis to us. I am Mazi Ezoka, and I say good night for now.